What's going on, everybody? Since I'm working throughout the whole August, I really have no free time to work on the next video. Except for today, which is why we are looking at another PU battle against House of Wolves 100. The team I'm using today was made only recently out of my oldest black 2 and white 2 PU pokes, because in 6th gen, Granbull got a beneficial fairy typing, Ariados got a sticky web, and suddenly they make a pretty good team with other guys. But the one poke that stands out from my team is this guy. Now I want you to take a guess what kind of set is this Regigigas running. The clue? Some of you have seen it already in my older PU battles. If you guessed correctly, then I applaud you, because that means that you are my subscriber for at least a year. Mark meanwhile has brought a solid looking team, but looking on it you can see him thinking, I've got 2 walls, a supporter, a physical and a special attacker. They make a good team, but I need that little something that will distinguish it from all the other PU teams. I know, I'll throw Choice Bandit Wojton in there, that should do it. And that's what you're here for, to see stuff like that in action. I'm not gonna keep you waiting any longer, let's get into it. Speaking of Wojton, Mark decides not to keep me waiting and lead with his wildcard, while I put Granbull on the leading spot, because except 3 attacks, it is carrying a Thunder Wave, which can be very useful against offensive leads, such as Beedrill. Not knowing whether his Wojton applies to the same category, I decide to go for a T-Wave anyway, but afraid of close combat, he switches to Wormadam Grass. Now I have already faced Wormadam Steel and Ground, but that's the first time I get to face the grass form, and the only time I have seen it, it was in one of Archisel9's videos, and I believe it was a choice spec sweeper with Leaf Storm, so just in case Mark has seen that video too and brought the same variant, I switched to Ariados to take it, but he just goes for a Toxic, revealing that it is more defensive set. That makes me think that he might not be carrying a coverage move like HP Fire or Rock, but not only he proves me wrong on this one by going for a Psychic, which turns out to be an easy to hit KO, but also I have completely forgotten about his Beedrill, so I waste 2 turns on setting up Toxic Spikes only for it to come in and get rid of them. In exchange, he takes a Poison Jab though, which despite resistance does nearly half to him, meaning that Sucker Punch can finish him off from this range. However, I don't want to reveal it right away, especially that I am not certain whether it's the same banded Beedrill that we have seen in a previous battle, and I have Rhydon that can deal with just about every one of them. It turns out to be a good call, because he indeed goes for an agility, either predicting a Sucker Punch or a switch, but is forced to waste it on the following turn to avoid incoming Stone Edge. His Staryu still doesn't take it well at all, but although it is faster than me, I decided to play it like a man, stay in predicting him to recover predicting my switch and get rewarded with a crit Earthquake, which puts a lot of pressure on him, so after that I am pretty sure that he's just gonna go for a Scald, but at the same time I don't want to risk burning my Granbull or Kabuto, so I switch to Ariados instead, figuring that I don't really need it against this team. Ariados however refuses to go down without doing anything and survives the Scald as well as the following Rapid Spin, which Marquez definitely went for just for a style points, finishes off his Staryu with a Poison Jab and manages to take almost half of his Simisear's health with a Sucker Punch before he finally ends me with what I assume is a HP Ground. Not bad for a supporter, I really like this set. Sticky Web, Toxic Spikes, priority and reliable stab when needed. Toxicity does it all. Knowing that he is a special attacker, I realize that it's a good opportunity to bring in Big Bill and let him do some work. I set up a Gravity, yes, a Gravity. It's that set, ladies and gentlemen, but then make another dump play and go for a Focus Blast, forgetting that Wormadam is part Bug type, which is justified because it looks more like a plant than a bug to me. Anyways, even for a resisted move, that Focus Blast did surprisingly little amount, telling me that he is specially defensive, but at the same time I don't want him to Toxic Stall my Granbull with the help of Giga Drain, and obviously switching to Kabuto or Rhydon is not an option either, but I have taken that scenario into account while making this team, and that is why Yan Mini is here, to provide a quick solution. In fact, with the help of Speed Boost, it's a threat to Mark's entire team and he is aware of that too, so he decides to bring his Solrak, which gets demolished by Life or Bug Buzz, to get a safe switch to Wojton. Keep in mind that at this point I still had no idea what kind of set is this thing running, and that's probably the biggest disadvantage you can have while battling House of Wolves, as you can clearly see right now. I switched to Kabuto, but still take a butt ton from Banded Retaliate. Thankfully, its 140 base power applies only for the first turn upon switching in, meaning that he won't be able to take me out with another one, so he goes right to War Madam as I set up my Stealth Rocks. This time I don't want to risk switching to Yanma, as he might predict it and go for a Psychic, so I just decide to stay in and do some good damage with Rock Slide, but unlike Ariados, Kabuto refuses to cooperate, misses all of them and goes down to a Psychic joint with toxic damage. I guess it might have something to do with the fact that its eyes are covered by a shell and it's constantly looking at the ground, but don't worry Kabuto, Zoom Lens will solve that problem once and for all. Back to the battle, Yanma quickly avenges Kabuto's death and Mark just decided to let his War Madam die just so that he can go back to Wojton, and I have played PU long enough to see Aquatail coming, but I have concluded that I'll rather death fodder Rhydon and get a clean switch to Granbull, which makes an overall better check to it. He switches to Beedrill predicting my close combat, but once again gets crippled with a Thunder Wave instead and easily goes down to a Crunch. Back comes Wojton to retaliate, but this, my good people, is why you don't let the important folks take unnecessary damage so that they can live a hit when it's needed and seal the game for you. Simisear is the last one standing on his side, gets a Salak Berry boost upon taking Stealth Rock damage, meaning that he is still gonna outspeed my Yanma after one speed boost and finishes off my Granbull with a HP ground, but I am not worried by any of that, because I am not going to finish this game with Yanma. Instead, I go to Gravity Gigas, and if you are familiar with this set, then you already know what's coming. Hyper fucking Beam. Now that's what I call a stylish ending. Good game, Mark. Honestly, I think that your rapid spin kill attempt with Staryu played a major role in the outcome, because had you just killed my Ariados with another Scald, you would have been able to bring it in later against my Rhydon or Granbull, and your Simisear wouldn't have taken early damage from Sucker Punch, so it could have ended up in quite different way. All of that aside, it was still fun battle as usual. Hope you all enjoyed it too. Like, comment, blah blah, you know the drill. I see all of you next time.